conversation with Dr.Sven Werchan. And we're back for this kind of informal, you notice how relaxed we're all looking now. Yep. Just a conversation about the show and about things that came up. And we invite you all to come in and join.
Yes.
I know we have some regulars who...
The link is in the masterminding group.
Yep.
You can also watch it there in the masterminding group, but isn't it nice that you come in and talk with us?
Yeah, like to see you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mark was already asking a wonderful question, a wonderful answer we got.
Well, thank you for the wonderful question. Anyway, I was impressed with the time you spent talking about in Wilbur terms, the bottom half of the quadrants and their influence upon us in the upper right, these bodies here, in the middle of all this food, and the impact that the restrictions and the possibilities that would be possible in changing, that relationship if we could get some action in the society and in the institutions of a society. So that would, you started off on an answer there, and maybe we can repeat that a little for people who are joining us late.
Yeah, I mean, when we talk about nutrition, we usually talk about what we eat, of course. But actually, nutrition is the consequence of the decision I do. And science is saying that we do 200 of them every day. And so it is a very interesting question on what influences actually my decision making. Yeah, the process of choosing something instead of something else is not just influence on what I know about nutrition. It's mainly influence on my mood, on what is just in the fridge, and on other people. So the influence of other people is highly underestimated, or we don't take it into account. So people go from a coaching or go from a nutritional advice with very good intention home. And if then usually women say, okay, now I'm going to cook differently, and the rest of the family say, oh no, we don't like this. It's a major problem. It's a big problem, and we don't see it usually. And we fail our approach, our intention to change something often fail because of the lower quadrants. We fail because people in our surrounding, family members, they don't like this. Or friends say, please just hang out with us and be normal like you always have been, have another beer with us, or you're not a man if you are not eating sausage with us, and stuff like this. And also we don't have the structures in our life, because our structures are set up if we are adults. And changing eating behavior means changing the way you cook, changing the way you buy food, changing the way you organize food. So it comes with a lot of structural changes. And if you don't consider this in the process of changing, and if you give time to think about how to perform this in your life, you probably end up in the same automatic behavior you did for the last 40 or 50 years. So
Sure.
I just see that we have a little bit of a problem, because it doesn't, it is live, but it doesn't show that it is live. So I'm not sure if people find it. Otherwise, we have another nice chat together and continue to talk. It's good.
That's all right. Yeah. Oh, look who's back.
Yeah.
The cat. Okay. Anyway, actually, this could change the architecture of our houses if we followed through on some of these suggestions.
Yeah, it could.
Yep.
It's all, we were talking today about the fact that we begin to understand that everything is in systems, let's say. Everything is not only connected, but it's influencing each other. And you are talking very much about this in food. But it's everything, you know. And when you begin to understand that, I feel a little bit of an overwhelm, because I'm not smart enough to decide what is the right decision. So,
well, I don't. That's not that there is a right decision.
Yeah,
there is a decision to be made, you know, that takes into account many factors.
In let's say nutrition is sort of easy, because if you eat something which is wrong, you get a stomach ache, and you know that was not the right thing after the fact. But at least, unless you are completely insensible, you sort of understand that this was good for you. When you talked about eating too much or drinking too much, I really noticed that when we go to our expats meeting once a month, and I begin to eat much less and to drink much less, because normally, otherwise, I cannot sleep at night, you know? And that was not the case before. So it's these things we succeed to perceive, no? But there's so many other things we just don't notice. I'm not aware of. Oops.
Yeah, I mean, I think another point is that we cannot have a perfect nutrition either. Yeah. So I think a very high goal for me personal is to be free, and to feel and to decide freely in the moment what's the most important perspective right now. I mean, if I'm in a bad mood, if I'm emotionally really disturbed, I have cake, because cake was, I mean, my mother was a good bakery, and she could make delicious cake, and she was always stressed out. And when she had her little nap in the afternoon, and when she woke up, she had cake and coffee, and that was the most peaceful moment of the day. So for our family, so it's kind of stored in my brain, or it's kind of stored in my habit. So I calm down myself if I'm emotionally disturbed, or even with cake, for instance. And so I can even acknowledge. So if that can be okay, if it is in balance in an overall picture. If that's the only way I can acknowledge myself, it's the only way I can deal with my emotion, then it can be a problem. But to do it every once in a while, or to see it as one mechanism in many, we shouldn't make a problem out of it. Because it is always important how much. So what you eat, you should always consider in how much you eat. So I'm usually asked, is chocolate good for me, or is chocolate bad for me? It depends on how much you have. You cannot say 1 piece a day. Of course, it's okay. 2 pieces, it's okay. 3 pieces, it's good. 5 pieces, have 10 pieces, so it goes. So it always depends on what you eat and how much you eat of this. And you should, and I think another picture is that we develop an adult approach. So we have the child approach that always wants something, that always wants something else, that always wants something sweet, that always something intense. And then there's the parental part you don't allow to. And we are kind of in the middle, switching from one side to the other, eating, finding ourselves in the middle of the night in front of the fridge, and then getting punished by our parental part, and to develop a grown-up part in the middle that would include our impulses, our lust impulses. Of course, they are okay, but they should be limited, from a reasonable point of view. And there's the another part, and to grow these adult part in us. And I think this is still a developmental step ahead of us, for all of us, because our environment in terms of nutrition dramatically changed over the last 50, 100 years. I mean, it's a longer process, but especially in the last 50 years, there are dramatic changes. So,
yes, and we, in our third half of life, so to speak, you know, we have a chance to undertake new directions and try new ways. We don't have all of the social pressures that we had earlier. You know, we're not sitting at mama's table, but
we are getting sort of also lazier, and we don't want to do the vegetable garden anymore, and even olive. We still pick them and do the things, but you know, the older you are, then you do. So,
but we have found good sources of vegetables.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they are fresh.
I mean, what you just, Heidi, what you just said is important, because when you realize that you don't have the power anymore, or you don't have, you can move according to the needs of farming, start finding other ways, because that structural part, the lower right quadrant is important. Where do you get it from? How does it how does it play out in your life? Because you can only eat what's in the fridge. You can only eat what you have in the house. So where do I get it from? And then that's an important question.
Well, we have developed a really nice lower left, lower right combination by going to a farmer's market each Friday morning.
And I think that's a very good way to establish a relationship with the whole process. But because nutrition is not just what we eat, it's the whole process of producing it and the whole process that comes afterwards. So it's not just the moment we eat. Nutrition is the whole thing. It's the whole relationship to the world, and the whole relationship that we create with our body, and what are the consequences of our choices. So that's important.
You know what I wanted to tell you? This very nice people, they grow their own stuff here in the, not far away, about 10, 15 kilometers away from here where we live. And they come to the market every Friday, but necessarily they have only what is growing now or what they could store in the cellars. But, you know, they are so kind people. I order every week a kilo of spinach and a kilo of mangold, bieta, I don't know what it is in English, and then cauliflower, and then there was black cabbage, and then like this red salad, you know. It's finishing now. And sometimes I want, for instance, they don't have broccoli, and broccoli I buy in the supermarket. But when I eat the broccoli, I always think, oh yeah, this is from the supermarket. But when I eat the other stuff, which, for instance, afterwards we will have the salad, this is from them. And it's not only because I know it's fresh, but it's also because of the relationship with the people. When we come, we say, Heidi, how are you today? And things like this, you know. And
they call me young man.
They call him young man, yeah. So this all plays together in the mood with which I eat the stuff I'm buying there. You know, it's amazing.
Yeah, and that's part of the awareness that we take into account, and even the gratefulness for that we have something to eat, and then we have something good to eat, and what a precious thing this is. After hundreds and thousands of years of dealing with hunger and starvation, because that was the original real issue for millions of years for all animals, actually, for all species on this planet. And we are the second and third generation that live in an we have too much of it all the time, and we have no behavioral pattern to deal with it in a decent way so far. We are like dogs. If you just put something in front of a dog, he will eat it. And if you just put, something to cookies in front of people, they just eat it. So if you make it so easy to eat, if you are surrounded with eating stuff, you're gonna eat, because that's the very primordial pattern probably that we have. If there's something, I just eat it, because I don't know when it's gonna have something again. Yeah, because that's
and I'm getting hungry.
Yeah. And I am.
I'm hungry too. I'm looking forward to go to the.
Yeah. I just wanted to say I have something of that because I was born 52, so it was short after the war, and there was still not much to eat. So I carry with me this idea that I have to finish the plate. I cannot throw away the stuff. So, you know.
We all do. I got it from my father. I mean, I was born in '66, but my father still, he experienced hunger. So he forced me to sit an hour in front of my plate just to finish. Yeah. So I still have, I still feel it in my body. If there's something on the plate, I cannot leave the table actually. So that brought me just to take smaller portions, because if I have it on my plate, I will eat it. This is so deeply ingrained. And I think it's even a value not to waste food.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I start with smaller portions, because then I can decide later on. Because that's in terms of the aging, maybe some additional advice. There is a way to prolong your life through nutrition. And the best way is to eat less. That's proven for many different species. Yeah. And it's, I mean, we cannot prove for men because it would be unethical to do so. But from the physiological mechanisms, we can be pretty sure if you eat just 80%, if you just eat 80% of satiation, is that the right word?
Satiation.
Yeah. Then you could probably prolong your life about to 20 to 30%, if that's your way of living, or if that's your way of dealing with nutrition. It's the overeating that, you know, would put even limits on this. And I mean,
this is
many things more we could share about eating. And
okay, I'm not as hungry now. Okay.
I think we should do another session, maybe not immediately, but maybe in autumn, and talk about it. But I want just to answer to that, eating less. This is against this, what you said before, this drive to eat as long as things are there. And for me, it's not only on the plate, it's but if I have it in the fridge and it goes bad, so I have to eat it, you know. This is really get it. I try to get it right, the portions, but sometimes I don't get it. Anyway, I'm not completely.
It will take generations to develop new ways of dealing with food, to come into balance with the resources of the planet, to create new sources of food. I think that has always been a very important issue for mankind, and it will be in the future too. And so it is a task ahead of us, or we are still in it, because it's an ongoing behavior. So learning to deal with nutrition in a more conscious way, I think it's an important issue for us and for being on this planet.
Yeah, and also to take stand for it and not allow that these things happen. You know what happening everywhere, this poisoning of everything. And it's not only the pesticides, it's also what we see ever more, the fracking. They do it right in the middle of the fields. And you don't tell me that when they put the poisonous water in, that it won't go a little bit in the fields too. They just cannot guarantee, you know. And many of these things, or the poisoning by oil in the sea, you know, and nuclear. What is happening in Japan? We don't talk about it.
Our approach to poisoning. So we usually look at one single agent or one single substance, but how small amounts of many substances influence each other, and how that play out in our body, it's beyond our current understanding. We cannot even imagine how that works. And so we are just at the latest point of knowing, of course, and in 10 years from now we're gonna see much more.
And we see if we are still alive or poisoned. You see, I'm very optimistic. Okay, at this point,
it's important to stay optimistic and not to go into this, you know, dark sceneries all the time, because that would influence our bodies too.
Absolutely.
Really, to have the stand, to be bold enough to look, to take a look, and then still keep an optimistic eye on everything, or to, you know, to keep it up.
I want to say to you, but also who is watching this, last Tuesday in the Wisdom Factory, we had a show which is called Women Matters. And this was one of the topics. How can we stay inspired and not go down the rabbit hole of darkness and desperation and fear? Oops, I made fear to the cat.
What you came up with? What was the punchline?
It was, how can we stay inspired towards a betterment in the world, with all the fear, with all the things which are happening just now, you know? And we were sharing practices and also how we feel. And I taught many people since last summer. It began with the earthquakes here in Italy, and then we came to know all about the huge amount of fracking which is happening, which you cannot even imagine when you see it with Google Earth, over hundreds of square kilometers, one near the other. And I thought, it's you know, it's.
Oh, I never heard this, that it's happening in Italy. That's interesting.
No, in Italy not. In Italy it's all happening, but no, exactly. We know it from America, because there you can see it very well. It is all little white pads covering all the mountains, even inside Los Angeles, inside downtown. The mountains are covered with all this stuff. And then that was one of the things. And, you know, and then the election there and what is coming up here, it was really bringing me down into a, you know, and so.
And you know, what you do, what you offer with these hangouts, it's an important part, because we have to share our insights, we have to share our, we have to create culture, a more decent culture, and with each coming together, we share energy, we share insights, we share inspiration and creativity, and I think that's an important part too.
Exactly, and even if a sort of discourse which is not attracting hundreds of people, but I think it's still worthwhile to do it, and to in time, then all these shows are also seen. You know, maybe at the moment, I think we had 7 or 8 people only watching live, you know. But
can I make a link from my website?
Sure, I will.
I will come back. I have a full week work now, Heidi, but I will come back the week after, the last week in March, and I would link. I mean, I'm at Facebook. I'm connected with more than 1,000 people. So I would link this. I mean, they are usually German speaking, but I don't care. So that I can promote you and the stuff we share, and then to build it. Because
this is wonderful.
Pioneers, we have to go anyway. You know.
Yeah, this would be wonderful, because this is really our inspiration. We don't get not even 1 cent out of that, and you know, but this still. It is inspiration, and we want to do it because we think this is what we can do.
And this is the cure for that. Oh my God.
Yeah, because inspiration is energy, and energy is the future. And also in terms of medicine, where you get your inspiration, you get your refreshment. And I think that's a very important part of staying healthy, because you know, that's who we are.
Exactly. And
thank you very much.
After these things, I'm always excited. And now we will eat what we eat with much joy. And you know, there is salmon and salad. That's normally what I eat, or cheese and salad, or whatever. Sometimes.
So I'm going to the restaurant of the hotel now. So I'm dependent. I dependent on the menu here. But I know that here in the Steiermark they have this Kürbisöl. I don't know.
Oh, wonderful, yeah.
So I have this salad with this black oil, and I love it. So I'm looking forward.
Okay, and a good glass of wine. I wish you
not for me, because I tend to have a headache pretty easily. But
okay, and you have to do this.
It takes practice to get over that.
He's an alcohol expert, so he knows it takes practice.
Next time. Okay.
I spent 35 years not drinking a drop.
So
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would love to, but I don't. My body would not acknowledge, so I just leave it.
Let's leave it.
Okay,
All right.
bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, Sven.
Bye-bye.
Take care.